Mind juice. Welcome, everyone. Today's host is going to be Benjamin Goes, with
Yay.
co-hosts Vlad Sema and myself, David Bone. We're missing Nick Von Dolan today due to unforeseen circumstances. I'm only saying that because I actually don't really know where he is. And I'm going to pass the show off to Ben.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, because we're missing a co-host, we're not going to proceed with our normal topics, which, since the show is going to be hosted by Nick and Nick's not here. So instead, we're going to spend the next 30 minutes or so talking about Nick, because that's what you do with your friends when you're missing a friend. You talk about the missing friend, right? Dave, how long have you known Nick?
Oh, geez, man, let me think about this. No, we were actually talking about this before. I've known Nick since 6th grade. We met in Mrs. Clemdolan's class. I can't remember what group we were. It was some color group, right?
Was that the health teacher?
Yeah.
No,
he
social
wasn't.
studies.
Oh.
Vlad, could
I
you
think,
be a little bit professional?
Sponsor.
so
For the
however long
viewers,
it is.
10 minutes ago, Vlad wasn't wearing a shirt, but...
I don't know
Alright.
how long. 6th grade from now. I don't know how long it is. 7
It's
years.
about 8 years.
8 years. So yeah, a good while.
It's not quite half your life. Dave, how long have you and I known each other?
We've known each other since kindergarten, when we were
What is
about
that?
5 years old.
14 years?
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
Vlad? Vlad, when did you first meet Nick?
The first time I knew that Nick existed was in 7th grade at the talent show when he danced to Napoleon Dynamite, I think. And I remember I was sitting in the back, and right next to me were the most popular girls in the school. And once he got on the stage, all of them started cheering and jumping out of their seats and screaming, "Nick, Nick, Nick, oh my God." And that was my first impression of him, and he killed the dance. But I became friends with him, I think, at the end of 7th grade. I don't really remember. But it was the end of the year, and we instantly became friends. Like, there was no question about it.
All right, great. I've known Nick for as long as Dave's known Nick, so there's that. So, Dave, did you have other friends in 6th grade?
Yeah, so I met Nick through another friend. Maybe not even through. I just met them at the same time. It was a close friend of Nick's at the time. His name was Adam, and we were all really close buddies for a while, actually. And then sometime in high school, we just kind of broke off from Adam. He started doing his own thing. He was very music oriented, and I guess Nick and I weren't as much. So. But yeah, it was Adam, me, Nick, and Ben, and was there anyone else in our group back then?
Jevin, maybe?
Yeah, maybe
Gianluca?
Jevin.
Did you hang out with Gianluca, or is that just me?
I used to hang out with Jevin just because he lived close to me. He was on the bus, and I had a whole bus clique.
So you're not friends with those people anymore, right?
No, not at all.
So what makes your relationship with Nick last, do you think?
I honestly, I'd have to say Nick and I have very similar passions. He's really into computer science, and I am too. I just haven't gone to school for it. and just this past summer, I was really excited about electronic stuff that I was learning. and I told Nick about it, and he was excited about it too. So we started working together, and it was a lot of fun. We just shared a lot of the same passions, and we have a close knit group of friends here, so it was just really easy for us to all stay together after high school.
True, I suppose. Vlad, why are you still friends with Nick?
I don't know. We're just really good friends.
That's illuminating. All right. So when I went off to college and all of you people stayed in high school,
Yes.
all of
Right.
our relationships were kind of strained. I kind of drifted away from all of you, including Nick. And then one day, Nick came to my church because he was dating Becca Aldridge, and Becca Aldridge goes to my church. And so, hey, it was Nick, my old friend, and so that kept us having some minimal contact. And then the day that, well, not the day, but like a month after he and Becca broke up, he texted me to say, hey, can we talk? And I took him out. So he poured out his soul to me, which he does periodically, or he did periodically before we kind of drifted apart. And it was just like old times, like we had never left. And so to get his mind off of it, I said, hey, let's go out to eat. And along the way, we picked up Dave, and then Dave was like, hey, let's go pick up Vlad. And then Vlad was busy playing video games, of course, but we kind of sat in his driveway until he came out, and then we all went out to eat, and that was kind of like the rebirth of the friendship. And me and Nick have never been closer now, which is great. Dave, what's one of your favorite memories with Nick?
Oh man, this is gonna be tricky.
Hold on. Vlad, you got to get ready for this one because you
I'm
can't
ready.
just keep smiling at the camera.
I'm ready. I have like 1,000.
Just off the top of my head, I'm gonna go to one of the older memories, not one of the more recent ones.
Good.
Back, I can't remember if it was 8th grade or the beginning of high school. I think it was probably 8th grade. We went to a museum in probably New York City. Who knows? I have a terrible memory. But anyway, we went to a museum back in the day, and I think it was his dad and my mom were like chaperoning, or they came along, and we hung out the whole day. Ben, you were there, and it was just a really nice day. For some reason, I remember in particular getting a sub with like tomato on it and me complaining. And Nick was just like, "Why do you not like tomatoes?" And I don't know. I just remember that really fondly for some reason.
All right. I'll give my memories now. So I have two. One from a long time ago, right? So me and Nick were at the lunch table in middle school, and it was Lent, and Nick's Catholic and I'm not. And so I was having Nick explain Lent to me for like 10 minutes, like he was just explaining the whole concept and stuff, and telling me about how he had given up meat and stuff. And then some kid walks by and says, "Hey Nick, I don't want this McRib. You want it?" And Nick's like, "Yeah, sure." He takes it, he opens it up, he takes a bite, he starts chewing it, and I just point at him and I'm like, "Nick, that's meat." And he spits it out and is like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just did that." So the other one's more recent, and that's the night I got Nick drunk for the first time at Vlad's house, and I like that night because it was like a sense of camaraderie between me and Nick, since me and him were really the only ones drinking, and I don't know, I think that he really enjoyed it too. So,
Was that what was that? On New Year's?
Well, we were drinking on New Year's, but you didn't want us to be drinking, so we didn't publicize it. No, that was the night before we all went back to school.
We were playing
it
that
was our
board game
last
in the
hurrah.
room.
You guys drank at that party where we had a lot of people. When Thomas Fortune was there and Jade and Tarita and
Yeah, we drank there too, but we didn't really get drunk. So
okay.
first
That
time
was
I got
that was the first time I knew that both of you drank.
yeah, the first time Nick got drunk was our last hurrah party at your house at the end of winter break.
Gotcha.
And for the record, Nick didn't drink before that New Year's Eve party. That was his first introduction. Okay, Vlad, what's your favorite memory? Yeah.
Favorite? Okay. Oh, I think it was 8th grade or 9th grade. I forget my memory. He bought me Heelys and he bought Iona Heelys, and that was incredible. That was like the best present anybody has ever gotten me. And I wore those like every day, and he had them too, so it was cool. Like we both had them. So that was one. And then one day he invited me to Six Flags, which no friend has ever done that. And you know, these are like big gifts, like pretty it said a lot about our friendship. We were really good friends. So those are two. And this one's kind of sad, but one time he was over my house and Iona and I started making fun of him for like 35 minutes. We were making fun of him and not letting him speak, and it got to the point where he left the house
Oh my god.
without his shoes on. He just left. And then we were laughing at him. I think he took his socks off. And he started laying down in the front of the house on the yard. And he may or may not have cried. But but Iona and I didn't stop. And
Of course you didn't.
Okay. All right.
And this
That
is
is
the
awful.
alright.
okay,
That's the
but
last
hear me
question
out.
we
Hear
give to
me out.
Vlad.
Hear me out. The most amazing part of it was that he forgave us. Okay, Nick is so kind and apologetic. How do you say that? What's the
Forgiving.
word? Forgiving. He's forgiving. Like if you do, he's understanding too. So I was like, Nick, I didn't know you were feeling that the whole time. So yeah. Okay, and
I probably would have just punched you.
I think you would have, but that was funny. Okay.
I will also
And
draw
then-
attention to the viewers that Nick and Vlad made a Shakira lip sync video
yeah.
that Nick was very, very proud of. And if you look up Shakira Hips Don't Lie funny parody, it's one of the top results. Nick and Vlad in like middle school, make lip syncing to Shakira. Vlad's really good at it, and so for the longest time I expected when Vlad spoke that a girl's voice would come out, but no, never mind.
What in the world? All right, wait, and I'll just say one more. It was 10th
Jeez,
grade.
Vlad.
It was 10th grade, and Nick and I were in the same English class. That was one of the first classes we had together, and we would just make each other laugh like every single day. When the teacher wasn't looking, he'd like stick up his middle finger at me, and nobody would see it. Oh, God. Good times.
I love Nick's humor.
Yeah. Okay,
I
I could go on forever.
Yeah, well, we all could.
Oh, we all could.
All right. So,
You know what'd be cool?
what?
If we had like music playing.
Right now?
I've got the Shakira video up.
All right. Do you guys admire Nick?
Absolutely
Of
not.
course.
Dave, why?
Have you seen what he's been doing at school? He's been taking advantage of like opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. All he does is like all these cool things that I'm jealous of him for. Oh my goodness. For one, he's got that job. He's like running the school's social media website. Like, and he got that right off the bat once he started school. Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea how he did that. It just surprises me. He spent the summer doing the orientation. Like, he's just dedicated to what he loves. And I do admire him for that.
Yeah. I mean, I admire him kind of for the same thing. He's very social. He's kind of friends with everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of likes him, and he's always trying to make other people happy. And I think that's really cool. Vlad, why don't you admire him?
Hey, I was kidding. I admire Nick. Remember in episode 0, you asked us what our worst trait was or something? And Nick said that he takes things on that he's not in a position to. Right? And that holds true. And I admire him for taking on something challenging, stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay.
I could give you an example. Like the hypnotist show. I don't know if you ever went. Dave, did you
No.
go?
At our high school,
Yeah, hypnotist show.
I think I went 1 year.
I think it was middle school.
Like he's
Oh,
not
was it?
scared. He's not scared to volunteer, and so he volunteered for that, and he got on the stage. And then, well, he got kicked off, but you know, it was cool because he wasn't afraid to go up in the first place.
Dave, you remember when you and I went upstage?
I do remember that.
I don't think
Yeah,
either
that
of us
was-
volunteered, but
No, I did not want to do that.
Why did you guys go on stage?
because the entire audience around us screamed Dave as soon as
Yeah.
he asked for a volunteer, and I was sitting next to him. So
For what?
Yeah. It was because I had to throw those sticks at him while he was juggling, right?
right, and you failed.
And he was like, "All right, and throw it now! Don't throw it now!" And I threw it at him, and it was bad.
Yeah, it was a chainsaw juggler, Vlad, at Dave's school. All right. Where do you see Nick in 10 years?
Where do I? All right, this is hard. I'd want to put more
You
thought into
boost
it, but
his ego and you say, "Oh, he's so freaking skilled, and he's definitely
Well,
gonna be a multi-millionaire by 30 and stuff like that."
I want to say he's gonna be in some sort of computer design. I don't know the technical terms, but like some like like new tech age Silicon Valley gizmo rich fancy office building, right? Like all that.
Dave, I think you need a few more adjectives.
Yeah, that wasn't enough. It's just because I don't know the correct terms. But that's where I imagine Nick in some really creative place, doing what he enjoys, or at least that's what I hope for him.
Vlad?
Okay, I imagine him in one of the 4 houses in a cul-de-sac, and he's gonna have 2 dogs and 1 cat with him,
Dave, you don't get this yet. I'll explain later.
and he'll just
Okay.
be, living his life. Maybe coding with me, working on projects with Dave, and talking politics with Ben.
Yeah, Vlad's new dream is for us all to live in a cul-de-sac together when we grow up.
Okay, so we each have a house on this cul-de-sac.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's
Mine will
great.
be the quiet laboratory one,
With many
And,
cars.
and then yours will be like always under construction. Like you'll have work sheds and stuff. And, Nick will have like LED lights all over his house that just are blinking randomly all the time. And Vlad's house is entirely League themed or something like that.
It's entirely what? Say that again.
League themed.
Oh, League. Oh, yeah, League of Legends.
Yeah. So I envision my vision is that Nick and Dave pair up so that Dave's building crazy shit and Nick's programming it and stuff. But I know that Nick wants to do more design type stuff. But you know, so like they go into business together to design a better whatever for somebody, and I'm their lawyer and stuff. And so we kind of get to like we all walk into a room as if we're strangers, right? You know, we're meeting for business, and then we close the door, and then you know, me and Nick just start swearing at each other and stuff, and that type of thing. You know, also in 10 years, I hope that you know, Nick has a good personal life. You know, he's got a nice girl, whether they're married or not, and I really hope Nick gets to have kids. So. Even though that's in question as of now, so because I think Nick would be a nice, a cool dad. Has Nick ever helped you with anything important?
My Shakira Spanish project.
Okay.
I'm sure that he has. It's just not coming to my head at this moment.
Well, back in the day, and by back in the day I mean like 7th or 8th grade, Nick would text me really late at night, all the time. And I say really late at night. It could have been midnight. Back then I went to bed early. And we would talk for like 2 hours. Nick has always been someone who just stays up really, really late. Like right now, you know, he's always on at like 4 a.m. or something. But anyway, usually it was him pouring his troubles out to me, and me trying to give him advice. But every once in a while, I'd reciprocate, and I'd talk about my own problems, and he'd give me advice. Usually the same advice I'd given him last time, or something like that. But those were nice, you know, because the thing I liked most about Nick back then was that he could always deal with the deep stuff with me, you know. Like Dave, you were a little silly, so to speak, and
Yeah.
and Vlad, you still don't talk, but back then you didn't talk either, and so Nick was kind of the guy I could go to and really just talk about anything, no matter how personal or adult or deep or stuff, which was helpful. Finally, what's one more awesome thing about Nick?
Nick. He has 2 last names.
Bond.
I just love goofing around with Nick. Whenever we get together, we're always just cracking jokes. And whether anybody else thinks they're funny or not, me and Nick are just like having a whale of a time. Over the summer, Nick and I would play a lot of video games, and we just like trash talk people. But like we weren't actually, you know, trying to be mean. We're just joking around, and I don't know. I just love goofing around with him.
So I think it's cool that Nick recognizes some of his faults and tries to fix them. So for a while there, he was almost as bad as Vlad about hanging out with us, right? And then I called him out on it, and he tried, and he's been fixing it, you know. So now, you know, if he's in town, I'm constantly saying, hey, you want to go out to eat or for a hike or something, and he almost always says yes. And I know he doesn't want to say yes because he tells me he doesn't want to say yes, but he says yes anyway because he wants to be my friend, and I've taught him that requires FaceTime, and so I think that's really cool about Nick, is that he's already a great friend, and every day he tries to be a better friend. All right. Anyone have anything else?
Thank you, Nick, for being my best friend over the years. I miss your jokes every single day that goes by that I don't see you. I wish we all went to the same college, and I very much hope that you aren't let down by your family.
Any more than you already are.
Yes.
All right. Dave, take us out.
All right, guys. Here we go. Mind juice.